The orbital classroom floated 300 kilometers above Earth's terminator line, where perpetual twilight painted the planet in ribbons of amber and violet. Inside Pod 7, 23 students from 14 different species sat in bioadaptive chairs, their various appendages, tentacles and limbs positioned for optimal learning comfort. At the front, Professor Zeltoth, a crystalline being from the Andromeda sector, projected holographic equations that shimmered in the recycled air. Jennifer Martinez sat near the observation window, her human eyes occasionally drifting from the lecture on quantum entanglement protocols to the planet below. She was the only human in the advanced physics cohort, a fact that made her both a curiosity and a statistical anomaly. "The protocol is simple," Zeltoth's voice resonated through translator nodes embedded in each desk. "When approaching a quantum-locked gate, one must wait precisely 4.7 seconds for the harmonic frequency to align. Deviation results in cascade failure." Kevin, a Talrathi youth with iridescent blue skin and 3 eyes arranged in a triangle on his forehead, raised one of his 4 hands. "Professor, the margin of error." "0, Zeltoth replied. "The mathematics is absolute. The protocol was designed by the Council of Exactitude. It has never failed when followed precisely." Jennifer's fingers drummed on her desk, a nervous habit she'd never quite eliminated. She'd read the protocol specifications last night, had even run simulations on her personal quantum tablet. The math was indeed perfect, theoretically. The next day, the cohort traveled via shuttle to the Helios Research Station, a massive ring structure that housed experimental quantum gates used for instantaneous matter transmission across solar systems. This was the practical examination. Each student would operate a quantum gate under supervision, transmitting a standardized test mass to Proxima Centauri and back. Kevin went first, his 3 eyes focused intensely on the chronometer as he initiated the sequence. At exactly 4.7 seconds, he engaged the transmission. The test mass vanished in a brief distortion of light and reappeared moments later, perfectly intact. "Excellent," Zeltoth chimed. "Textbook execution." One by one, the students performed flawlessly. The Metherian with their hive mind precision, the Quellan who calculated probabilities in their sleep, the silicon-based Vrex who existed in a state of perpetual mathematical meditation. Then it was Jennifer's turn. She approached the control panel, studying the quantum-locked gate, a massive circular structure 40 meters in diameter, its surface rippling with controlled energy fields. The test mass, a titanium cube inscribed with verification codes, sat in the transmission chamber. Jennifer initiated the sequence. The chronometer began counting. But something caught her attention, a barely perceptible flicker in the quantum field harmonics displayed on the secondary monitor. The frequency was shifting, micro-oscillations that the protocol didn't account for. Her engineering instincts, honed through years of fixing broken equipment with improvised solutions back on Earth, screamed at her. The chronometer hit 4 seconds. Her training said wait. The protocol demanded 4.7 seconds exactly, but the harmonic frequency was peaking now, at 4.3 seconds, and would cascade into instability if she waited. Jennifer's hand moved. She engaged the transmission at 4.3 seconds. The gate erupted with light. Alarms shrieked through the station. Zeltoth's crystalline form blazed with agitation. The other students recoiled in their seats. But the test mass vanished cleanly and reappeared 3 seconds later, perfectly intact, its verification codes glowing with successful transmission. The alarms fell silent. The gate stabilized. "You violated the protocol." Zeltoth's voice was sharp, fractured through the translator with what might have been anger or fear. Jennifer couldn't tell which. "The harmonics were destabilizing," Jennifer said, pulling up the data logs. "Look, there was a solar flare 17 minutes ago. The station's shielding filtered most of it, but enough high-energy particles penetrated to create microfluctuations in the quantum field. If I'd waited until 4.7 seconds, the cascade would have. The protocol accounts for all variables, Zeltoth interrupted. Not this one. Jennifer expanded the visualization, showing the harmonic decay curve. This is a Six Sigma event. The protocol was designed for normal operating parameters. This was abnormal. Kevin leaned forward, all three eyes widening as he processed the data. She's right, Professor. The statistical likelihood of this particular fluctuation pattern was considered negligible during protocol design. 0.0003% probability. Negligible is not zero, Jennifer added quietly, and I was standing right here when it happened. Zeltoth's crystalline structure dimmed, a sign of deep processing. The other students murmured among themselves in various languages and frequencies. You could have destroyed the gate, the professor finally said. You could have torn a hole in spacetime. You violated established procedure based on what? Intuition. Based on observation and adaptive analysis, Jennifer corrected. The protocol is a tool, Professor. An excellent tool, but tools don't think. They don't adapt to changing conditions. That's what we're supposed to do. That is chaos, Zeltoth replied. That is how mistakes compound, how disasters occur. Every species in this classroom comes from a civilization that learned to follow protocols precisely. It is how we achieved spaceflight, quantum mechanics, interstellar society. Humans are the youngest spacefaring species in the galaxy, and you think you can simply improvise. Jennifer felt heat rising in her cheeks, anger mixing with frustration. My species put people on our moon with computers less powerful than the tablet in my bag. We did it by adapting, by solving problems in real time, by making decisions when the situation didn't match the plan. Yes, we make mistakes. Yes, we fail sometimes. But we also innovate. We survive impossible situations because we don't freeze when reality doesn't match our expectations. The classroom fell into profound silence. Kevin broke it, his voice thoughtful. On my homeworld, we had a similar debate 3,000 years ago. The orthodox calculators believed perfect adherence to mathematical proofs was sacred. The adaptive school believed mathematics must serve reality, not the other way around. We nearly destroyed ourselves in the philosophical war that followed. And Jennifer asked. And eventually we realized both were necessary. Protocols provide stability, predictability, safety. But adaptation allows survival when the universe presents the unexpected. The answer was integration, not dominance of one over the other. Zeltoth pulsed with soft light. I must report this incident to the academic council. Protocol violations during practical examinations are serious matters. I understand, Jennifer said, but I'd do it again. The math said the gate would fail at 4.7 seconds. The real universe gave me a different answer. I trusted what I could see. 3 days later, Jennifer was summoned to the council chambers, a zero-gravity amphitheater where representatives from 47 species deliberated on matters of galactic academia. She floated in the center, surrounded by beings of incredible diversity, energy clouds, crystalline matrices, biological entities of every configuration. The head counselor, an ancient Quellan whose skin had turned silver with age, addressed her. We have reviewed your examination data. We have also reviewed the complete sensor logs from Helios Station. Jennifer held her breath. If you had followed the protocol precisely, the quantum gate would have experienced catastrophic harmonic cascade. The station would have been destroyed. 317 lives would have been lost. Your decision to deviate, based on real-time observation, saved them all. Relief flooded through her, but the counselor wasn't finished. However, this presents us with a significant problem. Our protocols are based on comprehensive analysis by our greatest minds across millennia. If we accept that individuals can simply disregard them based on personal judgment, we risk anarchy. How do we distinguish between your correct deviation and a foolish one that causes disaster? Jennifer thought carefully before responding. You teach us to understand the why behind the protocol, not just the what. If I'd only memorized the steps, I wouldn't have recognized the danger. But because I understood the quantum mechanics, I could see when reality diverged from the model. Protocols should be our foundation, our default, but we need to be trained to recognize when they're insufficient. The ancient Quellen's eyes seemed to sparkle. A very human answer. You know what your species calls this approach? Engineering. A sound like laughter rippled through the chamber. Indeed. Perhaps that is why humans, for all your chaos and improvisation, have contributed 47 major innovations to galactic technology in only 2 centuries of membership. The rest of us combined have contributed 53 in the past millennium. Kevin, attending as a witness, spoke up. Respectfully, counselors, perhaps the lesson is that both approaches have value. My people learned this painfully. Could we not learn it peacefully? The council deliberated in frequencies Jennifer couldn't hear. Finally, the Quellan spoke again. Jennifer Martinez, you will receive full marks for your practical examination. Additionally, we are commissioning a new course, Adaptive Protocol Management. You and Kevin will help design the curriculum. We will teach our students not just to follow rules, but to understand when and how to break them wisely. As Jennifer and Kevin left the council chambers, floating through the station's translucent corridors with Earth visible below, Kevin's 3 eyes glinted with amusement. You know what you've done? He asked. You've made chaos official curriculum. Jennifer grinned. No, I've made thinking official curriculum. There's a difference. Is there? I'm beginning to wonder if that's the most human thing of all, seeing differences where the rest of us see dichotomies. Below them, Earth turned slowly in the darkness, a blue marble covered in 7 billion humans who had spent their entire existence learning that survival sometimes meant coloring outside the lines. Jennifer pressed her hand against the transparent wall, feeling the cold of space through the barrier. Maybe that's why we're here, she said softly. Not to follow the galaxy's rules, but to remind everyone else why the rules exist in the first place and why they're not enough on their own. Kevin considered this, his alien mind processing the very human philosophy. Your species is going to change everything, aren't you? Jennifer smiled. We're going to try. And somewhere in the quantum foam of spacetime, possibilities both calculated and chaotic rippled outward, carrying that very human promise into an infinite universe that was about to learn what happened when you gave apes from Earth access to the stars and told them there were rules they couldn't break. They would follow them. Most of the time. And